Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to talk about the new movie, The Equalizer 2. This will be a non-spoilers review of the film, so let's get into it. So, The Equalizer 2 can go down in history as one of the better sequels to come out in recent years. And this is also a superb sequel to the original film, which you cannot say about many films. But yeah, I thought that's super bright. I thought that The Equalizer 2 was better than the first Equalizer film, and I really liked that film. But I thought that in the third act of the original film, kind of just near the end, it kind of lost itself, and you know, was a little too dramatic and too drawn out at times. And the sequel certainly does a good job of repeating very similar mistakes. That being, it felt a little too dramatic at times. The third act was a little too drawn out. But I think that The Equalizer 2 is superior in story, a better ensemble cast, and action-wise too. This movie is very action-heavy, and it definitely features more action in the sense that they don't just narrow it down to a couple individual action set pieces, which I think the first film kind of did. They definitely have those action pieces which are much bigger and more drawn out than the other ones, but there's more action spread out across the film, even if it is just little moments of it. But I thought that was really a really nice addition, because it's just great to see Denzel Washington just kicking butt and taking names and doing all that stuff. And as I said, the two films kind of share similar faults. They share similar plot beats, where in the first film you had Denzel Washington's character kind of like leading that one girl who was a prostitute. He was kind of motioning her into a better lifestyle, and trying to help her out. And that was a good moment of that film, and they kind of expanded upon that idea in this one, where there is another young adult who he kind of fosters and helps along, but he does it more, and he does it with maybe a little more purpose, and it becomes a good part of the film. It's just in between action pieces and dramatic pieces, it's nice to see these family moments. These moments where you really see Denzel Washington's character, caring about others. And while he certainly does spend most of the time with this one young adult, played by Ashton Sanders, who never heard of him before, but he did really well in this film. While he does focus on Ashton Sanders' character probably the most, he does help out other groups of people and other families and stuff. And Denzel Washington. He's this real, nice, almost like a James Bond type individual. If you ever hear him talk about stuff, and he's real polite, a real gentleman, and he's got this kind of coolness to him, where he doesn't boast himself. And his character, I think, is a great embodiment of himself, because he's just trying to help others, whether that be killing bad guys, or just offering a helping hand to those in need. And those moments were really good too. The first Equalizer, you can kind of argue at times it really did feel kind of just like your typical action movie at times, and this film certainly has those moments as well. But again, The Equalizer 2 has less issues than the first film, and excels more, and it knows what it did right in the first one, and it continues those methods, and I thought that was really great. I truly think that this is a better sequel than the first film, and I was a little wary about Antoine Fuqua returning, because he did the first one, and again, I thought the first one was good, but it wasn't great, and I didn't know if he was going to be able to around, or just, you know, maybe even do a little worse, because, you know, I don't know, you know, I thought he could have done a little bit of material, but no, he really hit the mark on this one a lot better. And the first Equalizer, it started out really strong, and for like literally 85% of that movie, I was like, this is great. And then the third act made it just good. And again, same thing. About 85% of this movie I really enjoyed, and then the last act, just they could have done a little. They could have tied it up a little better. But whereas the first Equalizer, I say, is a good film, I will say that Equalizer 2 is a great film, and it should be seen in theaters. It's a really good film, and even if you passed on the first one and, you know, weren't really interested in seeing this one, I highly recommend you see this film, because it is better than you think it'll be. It is more than you think it'll be, and yeah, it's just a really good film, and it definitely deserves to be seen. And also, I want to give a shout out to Pedro Pascal, I think is his name. He played a good character alongside Denzel Washington, kind of a good companion piece to Denzel Washington and his character. They both have a kind of similar characteristic set, because they're both former military, and you know, continue to serve and all that, and do stuff. But you see both characters evolve over the course of the film, and it was really nice to see him you know, just play this character really well. I thought he did a great job, and pretty sure he was in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I'm pretty sure he was in that. If he was, it's a good reference point, because I thought he played a good character in that too. But I haven't seen enough of his work to really know him by heart. But he did a good job in the Equalizer 2, so I look forward to seeing him more. So yeah, The Equalizer 2, it's a good sequel. It can be added to that list depending on recently on films, either a short or long list of sequels that have done better than the first film. And yeah, definitely see it. So that is my review of The Equalizer 2. If you enjoyed this video, comment, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, definitely check out The Equalizer 2 if it's playing near you. And if you can, see the first Equalizer film, because it is good. And I hope that they make a third Equalizer, so to tie that off in a nice bow. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.